Come on. No.
Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to Banned for a Bit, our first new Tuesday videos that'll be released now. We're now going to split the videos up into two. Rather than just having a release on a Friday, we're now going to have Banned for a Bit on Tuesdays, which is a kind of band-related topic that we'll be speaking about, and an album review. And on Fridays, we'll be doing interviews that you've all been used to, with all the juicy underground music stories that we get with the bands and artists we get on. So this is our first ever episode of Banned for a Bit. Welcome. Yeah.
Hi. A little midweek surprise for our one subscriber.
Yeah.
So, this week's topic is going to be home recording versus studio recording. Because you've just gone through all this.
Yeah, I have actually.
And I think we're going to have similar ideas on this.
Yes and no, possibly. I don't know. I'm a bit like, Now,
Okay.
just to give our audience a bit of an idea on this, we haven't pre-discussed or disclosed our feelings on this before this video. So we might completely agree or we might completely disagree.
I think we're going to agree.
Okay, we'll see.
So why did you choose? You've just gone down the home recording route.
Yeah, my band have. Yeah,
Why?
World Held Hostage. Why? Okay, first thing I'll say is, regardless of home recording or studio recording, it is always very difficult to please everybody in the band during a recording situation, because you're always going to get one member who might want something louder or something different. So first of all, that's the first thing I'll say, whether you're in a recording studio or at home. The reason why is we couldn't find anybody who didn't cost thousands of pounds that we felt could replicate our style the way we wanted it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we've been to several studios. Like, I can think of at least 3. Yeah. And although, like, they were good studios to an extent, the quality of what we got after, although it could subjectively be seen as good to the people producing it, just wasn't what we were looking for. Saying that, one of the studios we went to for acoustic and vocals were actually bang on. We felt like we could do it ourselves just as good for free using a home setup, and because we had some good gear as well. Like, I know that one of the lads at the time when we were recording the guitars was using a Kemper, which is like a very expensive, very well-renowned modeling amp.
It's not a modeler, mate.
It's not even a modeler, is it? It's a
amp profile.
Yeah, it's like a profile. That's the one. Yeah. So it's like completely different. The only thing we've struggled with, really, I would say, is the vocals, getting the vocals recorded and then stuff. We don't have very good experience with auto-tune. We've kind of not wanted to use it anyway, but I know a lot of professional artists use it. We've spent a long time perfecting the guitar sounds. We've spent a long time on the drums, but the drums, it's easier. It's easier to use, and you can barely. Honestly, nowadays, if you use some of these electronic, like Superior Drummer programs, if you do it right, you can't tell it's not a real kit. Or maybe if you're a musician. So that's the reason why we did it.
Talk to me about how you recorded the drums then, because it was quite.
We didn't.
No, I know you didn't. But
we did.
How did you get your drums onto the track?
We used Superior Drummer. I didn't personally have a hand in the drums at all. Matty, our drummer, would actually program what he played into the Superior Drummer, and then sometimes Chris would like help out and stuff with it as well. Mostly Matty though, because Matty had to be happy with it, and of course he does, because he's the drummer, so he knows what
I thought you had it on triggers.
We did originally. We used an electric kit. We did. We used an electric kit, and we recorded that. That was, but I don't know if any of that stayed in. To be fair, that was with a different drummer actually. We did use triggers in one of the recordings we did in a studio, but now we just find it easier. I think we just do it. I think he just does it on the program now. But I recommend triggers.
See, when I've done home recording, because all I've done is a couple of like covers on my own, I use Easy Drummer, and I tend to pick up one of the factory set beats, and then I'll just modify it to match whatever I'm doing. I didn't know that you did that. I didn't know that he programmed it all himself.
Pretty much he does it. And then we had a hand in the mixing of the actual sounds of the drums.
Okay.
And Richard, God bless him, he's not even our guitarist anymore. He's our now ex-guitarist. He's mixed pretty much all of it with our input, but he's done the actual labour.
Here's the thing. I think you're at a massive disadvantage if you try and mix your band yourself.
Okay.
I think you're too close to the music to be able to draw a line under it and say, this mix is done now. Rather than you guys, and I know you have done it. I know you have. This is why it's taken you so long to get it out.
Yeah.
You guys are like, you see a tiny little flaw that when you said, because you normally send me your like final mixes, so I won't spot something, or I'll spot something being hypercritical, and you guys will see it as a massive problem. Like a kick will be too loud slightly, or
yeah, I know what you mean. You
and
are
then you go
right.
back and remix the whole thing.
You are right as well. It's World Held Hostage, by the way, the band. If anyone wants to check it out, we'll put links in the description below, which is my current band. I said that like I was about to leave. Then I'm not. My current band.
My band for now.
But yeah, so you are right. It's taken a long time, mainly because I do think because that we've had issues with the vocals as well. We wanted the vocals recorded better and stuff, and a couple of the songs we weren't happy with the vocals. Guitar wise, we got that done pretty quick, I think. Drums again, because the thing is, Chris, he's churning out new songs constantly, and we're adding drums to it, or Matty's adding drums to it. Like, and then Richard is doing a guitar bit to it, and then we're kind of mixing it virtually without even being there. You know, we're even mixing new stuff now. For example, Anywhere, I think that was made. I think it was before the lockdown, but I don't even know if that was recorded kind of all virtually, basically. Like, we weren't even together when that was recorded. In fact, yeah, I've never played that on stage. I've never played that in the practice room. That song, I think that entire song was made by Chris. I've never heard that played by the entire band, but we've got a recording of it.
Yeah. Is that the one you sent me a couple of weeks ago?
The one that you love, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good track, that. In fact, could we play a little section of it?
Yeah, I think we could. Definitely. I think they'd be fine with it.
We live to be free.
Yet, but it's pretty much finished mix now. In fact, I think that one's actually complete finished mix now.
Right, so this is the other thing. You've not tried to master it yourself, have you?
No, we're not. We're going to send it to somebody actually to master.
Okay. See, I think that's another big thing. I think if you try to mix and master your own stuff, I think you're too close to it. And you just end up going around in circles and you can never say this is finished.
I agree that it's definitely taken us a lot longer. So a part of me wishes, to an extent, that we had just gone to a studio and said, right, record our album, it might cost us XYZ grand. However, saying that, we might have been paid all that money and not been happy with it, because we've been to studios, as I said, where we've recorded one song and we've not been happy with it. And that cost 300 quid or 400 quid or whatever it was. So to do a whole album and then at the end of it be like, I'm not too sure, would have been a bit of a bummer. So we decided to go down this route. And we also, because we're a bit of a punky band, we thought the DIY feel would be okay anyway. We feel like we've got a pretty decent sound considering it's a home recording.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never expecting, like kind of $1 million studio quality stuff, because obviously we've not got $1 million studio and we're not engineers of that quality. But we feel like we've done a good job with what we've been given, basically. And that's the reason why we decided to do that. I encourage unsigned bands to give it a go themselves. I think
certainly.
Certainly.
No, I think it's...
Oh, certainly. Carry on.
I think it's definitely something you should try yourself. Like, I've had a lot of fun during lockdown, just recording little bits and bobs on my own, throwing a bit of the easy drummer in, like even like programming bass and keys and stuff. Like, it's a lot of fun to do yourself. But did you all have the microphones for the vocal? Did you have the Kempers beforehand? Did you have the interfaces beforehand? Did you have the software beforehand? So has this actually cost you way more than what it would have done if you'd just gone in the studio for a week?
So we actually did. Apart from Superior Drummer, which Paul, I think, bought licenses for. Apart from Superior Drummer, we actually already had the Kempers. Believe it or not. Kempers, we had 2. Now we have 0, but we had 2.
You were using one, weren't you, as a bass amp?
I did for a little bit, yeah, and I've got an Elf now, which isn't even mine. Again, it was bought by Paul, but I fucking love that thing as well. Trace Elliott Elf.
What have you got?
Trace Elliott Elf, and it's mega, honestly. It's so good.
Quiet.
What?
You've kept that quiet.
It's not mine, it's the band's, but it's really good. I wish I had one of the old GLX. I can't remember the name of the heads. One of the old Trace Elliott heads with the compressors on it, with the multi-bands. Like the graphic style, those, I love those. I've got a Trace Elliott cab as well. I got a 1x15. So yeah, so I've got that. And we actually had a lot of the stuff, and we had the programs already. Logic, we already had Logic. Most of us in the band already had it anyway. So actually, no, we didn't. However, if you are an unsigned band thinking about doing home recordings, I would say look into that first, because we did use very good amps and we used relatively good microphones. Recording vocals has been our weakest point, our hardest one, because we don't have decent condensers. So a lot of it has been done sometimes with like 58s and stuff. I know that our backing vocalist... who's in Scotland, he used basically like a streaming mic, which has actually come out really good quality. I'm not even sure what Paul used for his vocals, like what condenser.
I'm sure I've seen Paul with an SM7B.
Maybe he does. I don't even know. And vocals has been the hardest thing. And I would recommend having an interface anyway, because interfaces are pretty cheap. Like, you can get a 1-channel, 2-channel interface for like, 80 quid. I've got a Focusrite. I highly recommend them.
I've got Focusrite.
Highly
For
recommend.
a starter interface, I don't think you can get better.
I think it's the best budget interface you can get, personally, on the market.
Yeah.
And I say budget. I'd say they're better than that anyway.
I agree. I think it's a great idea to record at home on your own at first, because you can practice locking in with a click. You can practice locking in with a drum kit. Because it's a lot different, isn't it, when you're sat in a studio and you know that they've pressed record and you just hear the and all of a sudden you forget how to play.
It's crazy. When I first did it in the studio, I was like, oh my God, how do I do this? It is difficult playing to a click. We'll do an entire another topic about whether or not you should practice to a click. I've got opinions on that as well. Don't give anything away, because I think we could do an entire 10 minutes just on that.
All
right? Our drummer actually plays gigs and rehearsals with a click in. I'm not going to give you any more away than that, but he actually plays with a click in his ears. We play to him with a click, but that's by the by. If you're going to do recording, even if you don't do home recording, get used to a click track. At least play a couple of times out with one, because when we first recorded, I didn't play to a click at all, and I was like a duck in headlights.
For those of you who don't know what a click is, it's a metronome.
It's a way of keeping.
And it's normally like it sounds like a little click.
Yeah.
Or a tap or a ding or a...
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and you obviously change the tempo depending on what the tempo of your song is.
Or your time signature or whatever.
Yeah, you can change, and you can change you can change when the click is as well. You can change when the
and it's
when the high pitch one is.
So easy to fall out of time with it if you're not used to it.
And then you don't even realize, and you're so out. You're like, I don't even know where I am right now. Like, yeah, it's so easy. It's eye opening. If you've never done it, it is eye opening.
So I think it's a great idea to try and record at home.
I would agree.
The only downside I can ever think of about doing your own recordings and mixing is that you're too close to the music.
I think there's actually 3 downsides, if not a few more. There are a lot of good sides, but I would say there's 3 main downsides. One is exactly that. You can take way too long because you're so close to the music that you kind of just end up over mixing, and you're being over critical, and you never get it finished. You do have to draw a line under it eventually. 2, if you've not had much experience doing it, you know, it could come out not what you expect, and
then what have you lost?
Yeah, there's no such thing as failure. You're learning. Like, my first home recording was bollocks. So yeah, like I would say that's one thing. Don't be disheartened because the quality when you first do it might not be what you're expecting. And 3 is exactly what you said, is the money and the time, because you're gonna learn how to do it. You're gonna learn how to do it well. If you're gonna do it like to standard way, you're gonna release it, and then you might have to spend some money. Depends on how much. Depends on what kind of a home setup you want. Like, we did an entire album, but you might not. You might just want to do bits of this and bits of that, whatever. There are advantages to going into a studio as well.
I think there are, but
Especially
I think if the first time you ever record is in a studio, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because we did this. We went into a studio. Granted, it was a crappy little like shop front on a high street.
Oh, we 3 songs for 200 quid. I remember it. It was 3 songs for 200 quid.
Yeah, it was cheap and cheerful.
With mixing as well. No mastering, but with mixing.
Yeah, and it came out crap.
It came out okay for the money.
It came out okay for the money, and it came out okay for a bunch of 15-year-olds.
Exactly. Yeah.
But there was no way we'd ever release that now.
No.
Even with like our playing on it now, there's no like, it didn't sound good enough. We could have done a better job at home than that.
Now we could probably, yeah. I reckon we could now, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Now,
I think if you go straight into a studio, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot. I think it's always worth trying to do a little bit.
But I think recording at home and listening to a click at home, definitely. But I do think that for the experience, even if it's your friends at uni who are doing like a uni course at university,
I think it's an amazing experience.
Going into a studio is great.
If you can get in for free.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
and if
students doing coursework.
Yeah. And the other advantage is, if you are a band that is, you know, trying to make it and on the verge, you might want to pay the thousands to get it done at a very good studio and get a proper album done. That's fine. At that stage, well, that's kind of a different stage. We're really talking here, I think, about the kind of early stages, aren't we, of whether you should be. Well, I say early stages. World Health Hostage has been going for years, and we decided to go down this route, but we chose this route. But we know we've all had experience recording for years, so it's.
See, you say that. Oh, actually, yeah.
I did a 3-year degree in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even the mixing engineer on this. Richard is, but Richard did a 3-year degree in it as well.
Yeah.
But what I would say is give it a try. Even if you don't release it. Even if you don't release it.
I think
you might learn something about yourself.
I think try it. But the experience of going into a studio and recording is awesome.
We live in a different world now as well. I don't know what the statistics are, but I bet the statistics now of home studio setups is so much higher and has boomed in the last 10 to 20 years than it has ever been before because of technology.
Oh, my God. Well, my first audio interface was the Line 6 UX2.
Oh, my God. Oh, remember that.
At the time, I thought it was ace.
I know.
But it was fine. For like 15 years ago, it was fine.
I loved it. But now I'm like...
But now I think the difference between a budget audio interface and a professional level audio interface, it's narrowed. The gap's narrowed.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones to have if you want to get really, really great recordings at home is Universal Audio Apollos.
I need to check them out.
They are the dogs, but for like a 2-channel, it's like 900 quid.
Good quality wiring though. The preamps will be mega.
Rather than they are mega. Rather than I think my Focusrite is the 6i6. I think that goes for about $250.
I've got like the Apple Focusrite, so it's a Focusrite that's silver to go with the rest of my computer. Anyway, if you have any discussions of our band for a bit this week, feel free to comment below.
Did it?
I did it. I've been told I need to stop doing this. Feel free to comment below. What's your opinion? Do you think home studio is the way to go? Or at least, I didn't say home studios, home recording is the way to go? Or do you prefer to just go into a studio and let somebody do it all for you? We're not doing an album of the week this week, are we? Because it's our first one.
Yep, we didn't come up with one. Actually, it's my turn, Adam. One.
Yeah.
My fault.
I've got one to give you if not.
We've been going on for long enough anyway to not have an album of the week this week.
Yeah, we have. It's been a long topic conversation. So we will see you on Friday for our Band for Life interview.
Yep. We got 2, haven't we, for this Friday that we could potentially have?
Yes, we have. We're not going to tell you which one yet, but we're doing 2 interviews. So
one, I don't know one of them, but the other one is very cool.
Yeah, they are. Cool.
Anyway.
So we'll catch you on Friday.
See you on Friday.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.